Clash Royale. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rapid, and this is the SSL. I cast here with my co-caster Brendan Valdez, aka Big Haas. Every player in the SSL has a story and a prize. In 21 years, I've learned this one thing. You never know what's going to come through the SSL.
And what is going to come through today, Rapid?
Two best of fives, man.
Yeah, two best of fives with four fantastic players. I feel like we always say the same thing. So many of these players are fantastic. But today we really
Until one player names himself fantastic, and you're like, he is
then we
really
got a problem.
Fantastic.
Then
like,
actually we have a problem.
It's like there used to be a StarCraft
okay.
two-player named Best, and it's like, well,
yeah,
you name yourself that, but then you like inevitably will lose at some point.
You lose in the round of
like,
32. It's like, well.
Well, we don't have a player named Best, but we do have a player named Zest, and he'll be playing off tonight in his PvP matchup. But that's our second match of the night. We're going to be starting things out with one of the last Zergs in SSL, kind of fighting for his tournament life.
PvZ, Deer versus Solar is going to be that first matchup, and we've seen some PvZ recently. Rather, we saw it in the GSL last night. Even Deer taking on Bjul and able to win that one. So Deer going up against another Zerg tonight. Solar
got lots of practice, man.
Yeah, he got a lot of practice. Solar was able to see some of his strats, you know. But Deer isn't really a fancy player, you know. He just plays straight up good games. I think it's going to be hard for Solar to crack that code today.
Yeah, and I think that's the predominant thought, is that Deer is probably a slightly stronger player. But that's the reason we play these games, is to find out who is. So you can see how all of our players got to where they are here in the round of 8.
Yeah. And these are the Korean names, so just to tell you guys, of course, that's Dark defeating TY, and then Classic defeating Stats on the left side, and then this is our match tonight, Solar versus Deer, and Patience versus Zest to decide our two other players in the round of 4.
Yeah, so these are our 4 players for today. 2 best of 5s coming your way. Zest has only had one tournament to practice for a while now after getting knocked out of the GSL, so expect him to be in fantastic form. And definitely difficult for Patience to handle, since Patience made his way to this round of 8 based on seeding from last year's tournament. So he is going to have his work cut out for him there. And of course, for Solar versus Deer, maybe a little bit more of a lopsided match. But one of the things I was reading, and I think we were looking at this earlier on, is that you can never underestimate Zest's ability to lose to players he shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen.
Well,
you know?
I mean, it happened to like a TY versus Dark. I mean, obviously that's a matchup earlier on in the round of 8 that we thought was actually pretty good. But then TY doesn't make it through. But for here, it's like, well, I mean, Zest is clearly like a favorite in this matchup, so we'll have to see how things play out.
Yeah, I mean, Patience's PvP was looking really strong at one point, but that was at the beginning of June, I think it was. He defeated Classic and Pro League. He was taking out big names, and then all of a sudden he like fell off again. He seems kind of inconsistent at times, and it's kind of hard to put your faith in a player like that for a best of 5 specifically. If it's a best of 1, you take out Classic with a great build. Cool, that's awesome. That's great. You're proving yourself out there on the biggest, field essentially, the biggest battlefields here for StarCraft 2. But when you're going in a best of 5 against Zest, you're gonna have a harder time. So, kind of fearing for his life there. The other matchup is a team kill, so really anything could happen there.
Right. When players play with each other in these teams, in these team houses, they're all gonna be helping each other practice for different matchups, different tournaments. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works out, just because there are very similar strategies there. But let's actually go ahead and take a look at some comments from these players on their round of 8 matchups.
스타 1 시절 이후에 스타 2로 넘어와서는 한 번도 본 적이 없었던 것 같아요, 팀킬을.
처음에는 좀 아닌데 이런 생각했는데 팀킬이라서 더 편한 것 같아요, 저도 은근히.
다른 팀 막 결승에서 팀킬하는 거 좀 해보고 싶다라는 그런 게 있었어요.
그냥 프로리그에서는 좀 못하는데 K리그에서만 좀 잘하니까 많이 좀 신기한 선수예요.
장점 같은 경우는 아무래도 우승 경력이 있고 한때 진짜 시대를 풍미하던 선수니까 경험이나 이런 게 많고
전략적인 부분이나 운영할 때 생각이나 제가 더 잘할 것 같아요.
그때에 비해서는 지금이 그래도 상당히 더 쉬운 것 같아요.
그냥 민수보다는 제가 더 똑똑한 것 같아요.
저는 근데 전혀 그렇게 생각 안 하고 그런 부분에서 오히려 제가 훨씬 나은 것 같아요.
서로를 잘 알고 있으니까 대처를 좀 잘할 것 같아요.
그래서 아마 이기면 3대2 정도로 힘들게 할 것 같아요.
사람들 눈에는 좀 안 보이는 그 심리전이 많이 오갈 것 같아요.
동준이 형은 뭐 우승도 많이 해봤고 저는 리그가 이거밖에 없거든요. 그래서 이거에 올인할 생각이고 동준이 형도 양보 좀 해줬으면 좋겠어요.
민수야, 이번 시즌은 내가 이겨야겠다. 너는 다음에 다시 올라오도록 해.
So there you have it, guys. That was the VCR between these two players, and we did get a bit of interpretation in our ear as that was going on. These two players not seeming to care too much that it's a team kill, actually. Pretty comfortable.
Had a little bit of trash talk from Deer. He said while Solar was a player who really defined an era towards the beginning of Legacy of the Void, Solar actually said that to Deer. Sorry, I had that backwards. But Deer saying that he's actually just straight up smarter. So.
Yeah, he literally said that. He's just like, I think I'm smarter than him.
So I don't know. We'll see who is smarter here tonight. You saw the wide list of Solar's achievements. Definitely a very storied player, very strong at the beginning of Legacy of the Void. But here you can see Deer, and Deer is an incredibly strong player with his list of achievements up there, including a lot of time spent in GSL.
Yeah, he did win in 2013, as you guys can see there, Season 3. He won the GSL. Since then, he's gotten round to 4 twice. Season 3 of last year and Season 1 of this year. I believe he did lose to Zest. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was TY. But either way, he did make it quite far in that first season of this year. The other thing that these two players said in that interview was that there's going to be a ton of mind games that do not, they're not really seen to the naked eye, you know. So that's basically what we were saying. It's a team kill. These guys know each other so well, so there's going to be a lot of strange stuff going on.
All right, so you see the map list starting out on Frozen Temple, and then moving through our fabulous SSL map pool, finishing off, if we do go to 5 games, on Galactic Process, a map that I actually saw for one of the first times at DreamHack Montreal last weekend. Nice to see us, mixing up some new things in here. Along the way. New Gettysburg was a brand new map. Look how well that's taken off. So.
Yeah, Apotheosis also in the field there as number 4. It looks like these are both choices by Solar, in fact. So maybe he's the one really practicing those ladder maps, trying to, bring some of those in. It makes sense, especially because he plays so many online tournaments. He knows that Deer is going to be practicing mainly for the individual leagues and the map pools that they bring into this one. The more standard stuff like Frozen Temple, New Gettysburg, Frost, Dust Towers, and Kane State Home Station, which is exactly what he chose here.
Right.
And it's a good call by Solar. Of course, because Deer did not pick any of those maps, we won't be seeing them until map 4 and 5. But Solar may have a bit of an advantage once we get towards the later stages of this best of 5.
Very true. Might have some special strategies planned out for those maps. We'll have to check that out as we repair our voices and get ready for game number 1 of our first series, Solar versus Deer.
But you'll never forget me now. Enemies clawing at my eyes, I stretch and bleed. Just
Here we are on Frozen Temple to begin the night and begin the best of 5. Down in the bottom right, in the red, it is Solar.
Giving the thumbs down in that intro. We'll see if he is going to come out on top in this. The comment says, please break the stereotype that says Zergs are weak. So,
Outside of Dark.
Yeah, outside of Dark. So here we have our Protoss player on the upper left. This is Deer. Looks like this fan comment says, let's keep this win streak going. Good luck, Deer. That's what I say to my significant other every time I leave the house. Just kidding, I don't say that
Let's
at all.
keep this win streak going? Is that what you say?
Oh my
look
God.
at this!
Whoa, okay.
This is what we were talking about. It's a team kill. And Deer, he saw that there's no hatch at the natural. He saw that there's none at the third, and he's
Wait a
immediately going to know
second.
something's up here.
Okay, so this is already hilarious. What's also hilarious is that while there will be a lot of action as this early rush starts out, both Brendan and I are super sick, so not just the players who are sick. That means we're going to be yelling about all kinds of cool stuff. Now, he has scouted this, and he does know what's going on, so we'll see how this transpires.
Deer preparing for this perfectly. He already started to forge. He's got a very, very forward pylon here, very close to that hatchery. And he's even getting to work on that hatchery with that probe. He might as well. And the next step here is once that cyber core finishes, he is going to get that mothership core out to get those overcharges.
Oh, wow, he actually does fight that
okay.
drone.
That's a bit of a mistake. He definitely should have kept that drone safe.
Yeah, and he's going to have to send more drones over. So one of the big things that you do once you complete this hatchery is throw down spine crawlers.
Yeah.
So you can't do that if you don't have any drones, but he is already going to start making this queen, which is really going to help out on this rush.
Yeah, this is a bit rough here for Solar.
He might actually
totally
go pylon
scouted.
his main as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy to think about. Something he can do. It might cost a bit, but he could also just block the other hatchery if Solar wanted to try to transition. And he's keeping that probe around there. So look at this. I mean, how are you ever going to defend that? Even 8 links is not going to be enough. Even if one gets in, now he's got an adept out here. And Solar just has to back off. He cannot
he's
commit.
going to cancel. This is a terrible strategy. Well, it's a good strategy if it's unscouted, but Deer knew exactly what to do. He's going to get a cheeky creep tumor placed there right at the entrance, but with no natural and a pylon blocking it. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
This is a bad place for Solar to be.
Look at this. Even one adept can come over here and threaten these lings. You can micro that against just 4. And Solar also knows this, so let's see what Deer wants to do. It looks like he's just taking his natural for now.
Dies. Unlucky. Could have actually morphed that into something else, but here come actually a lot of links. There's no overcharge on that pylon, so all of these links are going to run all the way into the base. Now that is a pylon that should complete relatively quickly, but it's not going to be up for a while.
And at the same time, Deer's just going for some pressure. He's confident that he can defend at home with just the mothership core, but there's only one pylon over here. He is going to overcharge that, but that is a lot of links with speed.
Well, Solar's in a lot of trouble here. Zealot, very high DPS. Of course, Adept's very good at dealing with Zerglings if they kite correctly. Mothership core tickles, but it's still good enough to kill Zerglings. And in the meantime, Solar's base safe for now.
Yeah, it is safe. Eventually, this ling will be cleaned up. It looked like Deer wanted to focus down as many drones as possible, but the lings actually got a nice surround. He forced more and more lings too, which is pretty nice, so that drone count stays relatively low.
I didn't actually catch that pylon went down, but it did, and now trying to deny another pylon with the cancel. He's committing a lot of Zerglings just to try to take that pylon down.
Down it goes once again, trying to block here again with the pylon. This time only 4 of these lings do get into the main, but still very, very annoying. He's just going to try to fight here with his probes while he waits for this mothership core to come back. And
trying to keep those Zerglings as annoyingly alive as possible, continuing to rally out Zerglings across the map, but also taking a third behind that. So this game started out super crazily, but it looks like Solar is at least trying to stabilize a little bit and continuing to put this pressure on Deer's front door.
Yeah, Solar, he's doing a really nice job just being as annoying as possible, as you were saying. Wow, this force field's here, and that one ling is not going to be enough to kill that pylon, and with the overcharge, it looks like he will save that pylon for now.
At least this ling will scout a couple of gateways coming down before it meets its untimely demise. And with Overlords in position to scout out the front door, at least Solar will know that he's not under any pressure just yet. Oh my god, that cannon actually looked like... But, oh, actually, some of those Zerglings do scout this Oracle coming over, so even this will not be a surprise to Solar.
Let's see if it matters, though. He only starts a Spore now. And he does have 2 queens at the natural, but what does he have in the main is the question. He has, oh, okay, he's already got 1 Spore and a queen. So he is going to be prepared enough here to deny some of this damage. Only 2 drones going to go down.
We'll pick up 1 for free at the third if he wants it, but in the meantime, a good defense for Solar. So he's gotten his third base up. He's not behind per se, but unable to put much pressure on a Deer early on means the Deer should be able to take a relatively uncontested third base of his own. Did he just like...
yeah, he just revealed this.
Reveal the creep tumor but he only gets the alive one. So
I mean, it's a start, you know. You gotta start somewhere here.
I've never seen oracles used to kill creep tumors before, or used to reveal them with that revelation. Okay, that's actually bad. Loses one oracle for free. And now continuing with his blink pressure out on the map. I don't know what he hopes to get done with that other than just scouting this third.
And he will be able to scout that. At least one of these oracles does stay alive. And looking to do some damage here. But Solar's set up a really nice defense around all of his bases. So let's see if he commits to any roach pressure here. He did make that roach warren. And the roaches, of course, are going to be decent against a high number of adepts here. Better than the lings will, of course. But is he really going to be able to kill deer at this base? That's the question. And Solar is definitely committing to this. He's only on 48 drones, but he's making nothing but army units right now.
Yeah, and so you can see consistent pressure over the course of this game on the front door, but now the real big vulnerability is this base. You need to force a cancel and make sure that you can stay up a base to get yourself, not back in this game, but put yourself in a strong place. In the meantime, Deer with tons of adept pressure shading all the way into the main. Now, will he complete this? It looks likely he does, all the way inside, able to get a decent amount of drone kills if he wants to focus on that, but looks like Solar's in a decent spot to clean this up. The adepts should, a few of them will be able to complete their shade out, but most of those adepts going down.
Yeah, not sure about completing that shade there. He didn't get much economic damage done at all. He traded decently with the lings, but at the end of the day, not the best trade in the world. And he lost a lot of adepts in that fight.
Okay, this Queen's a little bit overextended, but baiting the Protoss army out. Can he get the sandwich? Probably not with the force fields there, but it's good at least to bait out the sentry energy.
Oh, and the force fields here are a little bit late. Even with the Ravagers, he's just going to be able to break down those force fields. And double overcharge, is that going to be enough to hold on to this base here?
The core as well. Both pylons down. Good force fields there to save the army, but with Zerglings all the way around, this could be bad for Deer.
I think it is going to be. The rest of his army going to go down here. Even if an Immortal does pop, it may just pop out to its death here.
Oh no, it's Immortal Combat, and it does survive for a little bit longer, but it's not going to last very much longer. GG!
Solar taking game number 1.
Damn.
Very strange fashion. That's not the first game that I expected to see there between these two players. The proxy hatch that failed completely into a couple of follow-up mistakes from Deer, including not being able to hold his front and losing a bunch of his adepts there. And Solar comes back and he takes that game.
Yeah, actually really impressive. Keeping that Zergling harass up on the front door even after failing that proxy hatch strat. I wrote down some strats here before the game. Solar doesn't like to follow any of those, so we get a little bit more of an exciting game and get to see ways to adapt from that by both players.
Yeah, I think this is what Deer was talking about when he was like, this is not going to be a normal series, guys. This is going to be a team kill series where anything can happen. It's like whose line is anyway, you know, just playing, and the rules are made up, and the points, you know, they don't count. Even though in this case they do definitely count.
The point